Right, so good morning everyone, welcome to the morning after show, the morning after the night before, and all in all, a good day for the Toon. Obviously a win would have been brilliant considering the three other results that day, or yesterday, Sunday, went our way. A win would have been good, but I think the performance was quite pleasing. We scored a couple of decent goals, but on one hand pleasing because I know Tottenham didn't play well, and I heard on TalkSport yesterday afternoon their fans ringing in saying they were woeful, horrific, etc. But I think in parts they didn't play well because we didn't let them. We pressed in the right areas, we played up the tempo. Our two wing backs played exceptionally going forward, I thought, particularly with the ball. Jacob Murphy had Reguilon on loan from Real Madrid. Had him on toast a couple of times. But so yeah, frustrating. We didn't take our chances because we had chances to win that game. I think we had something like 17 shots, which for Newcastle is absolutely unheard of. It was the most shots in a game since Steve Bruce has been the manager. Which you have to. I know obviously we're all Steve Bruce out, and one decent performance cannot erase all the nonsense, the circus that has been Newcastle United this season. But you've got to give him credit where he's due for yesterday's performance. So let's get into it then. So injuries forced Steve Bruce's hand in terms of team selection. Obviously we heard that Ryan Fraser pulled up with an injury. Fernandes got a knock in training, as did Andy Carroll. Before I heard about Andy Carroll, initially I looked at the team sheet and I thought, ooh, is that a little dig at Carroll? But anyway, so I thought it would be a 5-3-2 formation, but in the end it was more like a 3-4-1-2, which was quite adventurous, but it did the job. Obviously Dubravka in goal. Right centre back, Emil Kraft, probably the only player I can really criticise, to be honest. In the middle, Jamal Lascelles, El Capitano. Left centre back was Paul Dummett. Right wing back or right wing was quite good because it obviously with the ball it was a 3-4-1-2. Without the ball it was a back five, but you know that's how we tried to set up with that 3-4-1-2. So right wing was Jacob Murphy. Like I said, he went past Reguilon so easily at times, and it just shows, you know, with consistent game time and some decent coaching, he can be a cracking little player. You know, in my opinion, the main thing with Murphy is just you give him consistent game time. If he starts 3 or 4 games on the spin, you'll see a great player. I think he improves with minutes, obviously like most players do, but with him especially. Your two in the midfield, you had John Joe Shelby, obviously, and Sean Longstaff, return of the mat. We haven't seen him for a long time. I don't think he's started since, I want to say since the Leeds game, since the 5-2. I might be wrong, but he hasn't played for a long time. Left wing, Matt Ritchie, another one who hasn't started for a long time, and I didn't think he'd start again this season because obviously the bust up with Bruce, what he said, some more context has come out about that, which has painted him in a slightly better light in my opinion, but there we go. So then the one in front of them was Miguel Almiron, and then the two up top, Dwight Gale and Joe Linton. When I looked at the team sheet, I initially questioned where Fernandes was, because especially if we're playing a back three, I much prefer Federico Fernandes over Emil Kraft. Obviously he's injured, but with the players selected, I was a little bit surprised not to see ASM start. But then again, and it showed when he came on, he's not right. He's not there yet. You know, another week against Burnley, he might be fit and firing, which will be nice little. It's come full circle because his standout performance this season was against Burnley at St James's Park when he ripped them to bits. Hopefully we'll see the same ASM. If we see the same ASM, we'll win that game. But yeah, so he come on, he didn't look, I don't know, I was, the nervous me the cynical fan, I was looking at him thinking, he doesn't look bothered, is he? But he did, he did. I've watched it back since, and he did. He just doesn't look 100% fit yet. But apart from that, like I said, with the players available, Joe Linton doesn't have an end product 99% of the time. Ironically, yesterday he did one chance, but you think he's played okay in recent weeks. Dwight Gale's good to see him not start on the bloody left. He missed a couple of good chances, so he didn't cover himself in glory. But yeah, anyway, let's go back to front. Dubravka, nothing he can do about the first goal. It's not on him. That's Emil Kraft's fault, which we'll get to in a minute. Second goal, you could argue, because it's right across him, it's a bit of an angle, he should be saving that maybe, but it's Harry Kane. In my opinion, he's the best striker in the fucking world at the moment. Maybe Lewandowski, but Kane is just all-round finishing. Oh, he's just something else. Maybe Dummett could have stepped up and played him offside, but then again, let's give Kane a bit of credit. He's the best striker in the league. He's, like I said, in my opinion, best striker in the world, but he's definitely the best striker in the league for a reason. He makes space. His runs, the timing of his runs, his touches off the ball is just brilliant. So yeah, right centre back Emil Kraft put a couple of good balls into the box when he was playing as like a right back at times. Overloaded on the right hand side, helped Jacob Murphy out, which was good. But that first goal, what the hell are you doing, Emil? What was he doing? He just goes to like daintily touch it out of the way when it's right in front of the goalkeeper. You've got to just clear your lines, man. Just clear your lines. And that was, I almost say that if he cleared his lines, we would have won that game, because we were flying. We literally just scored. It was like a minute later, we just scored, and that was just like, then the second one was a sucker punch. But Kraft, come on. Jamal Lascelles, I thought he did okay. Headed most things that came his way. Marshalled the back line okay. Yeah, not an outrageously good performance, but solid. He did the job. Left centre back Paul Dummett was good. You could hear him a lot, because obviously you can watch it on TV without the fake crowd noise. You could hear him quite a bit, which was nice, because he is a bit of a leader. He looked more comfortable. I know he's played most of his career at left back, but he looked more comfortable in that, not centre back, but that sort of wide centre back role. However, you've got to argue, if he's playing Harry Kane on, like I said, you give Kane the credit because he is one of the top strikers, but he could have played him offside there. And that was critical, because we just conceded. Tottenham ramped up the pressure, they upped the ante big time. So if we could have cancelled out that goal, then we could have sort of gathered a bit more momentum, or they might have scored somewhere else, you don't know. But yeah, Dummett was okay. Let's carry on the left. Matt Ritchie, wow, what a performance. Leadership. He was constantly barking, which we always say, he gives 110% effort, but it made such a difference. His balls down the left, it's just, not everyone was pinpoint, but he stretched Spurs constantly. He stretched them down that left-hand side, on that outside channel, giving Dwight Gale or Miggy something to run at, or Joe Linton. Both goals came from his cross, came from his involvement. The first one obviously breaks to Sean, he lays it across, but Matt Ritchie was putting balls down that end, and the second one is his ball into the box and Joe Linton headed back across. He has to play the remainder of the season. I think he has to play, because you've got two guys out wide who are, one's a Newcastle United fan from his childhood. The other is potentially, he could challenge Jamal as being captain, really, and he should be our vice captain ahead of John Joe. But I think that's purely because John Joe plays a lot better when he's got the armband. But Matt Ritchie is great performance. I've not criticised him in the past, but I've always said, you know, we should be looking to drop him to the bench and bring through someone better if we want to progress. He's not the one to take us to that next level in terms of climbing up the table when we had Rafa. But my God, is he the man to keep us in the Premier League at the minute? Fantastic. Over on the other side, Jacob Murphy, like I've already said, ad Reguilon on toast. Good pace, good invention, always looks up for it, never shies away from the ball. He had a bit of help from Emil Kraft at times, which was good to see. But yeah, just pace. He showed his pace, his dribbling, tried to get balls in where he could. Just a good performance again. Two in midfield, Jonjo Shelvey. I don't think he did anything spectacularly. Both the two midfielders gave away some cheap passes at times. But he goes for that cross-field ball, and that's at times when he's not on his game, when he's not having a really good game, that's all he does, and it's effective and it looks good switching the play. But I don't know, he didn't play badly. I just didn't think he offered anything really, to be honest. Not a lot. Sean Longstaff, obviously a bit of a biased view because he's one of the local boys, and I thought he was terrific in the 18-19 season when he broke through. He's clearly regressed under Bruce, but he was full of energy, full of running, full of enthusiasm, with some good tackles in, some decent passes. Like I say, he had one or two he gave away. The assist for Joelinton was, you look at it, it's an easy pass, really. You know, it's not a long pass, it's what, 10-yard pass, if that? But it's on a plate for Joelinton. It's at the perfect weight. The ball's coming to him, cushioned, ready. He can just hit it. He doesn't have to control it. Doesn't have to rush the shot. It's just perfect for that scenario. Great, fantastic. Miggy Almiron, not his best game in terms of like effective, like passes or dribbles, but worked tirelessly. Didn't give the ball away much. Won some free kicks. Was always available. Always an option. So good for Miggy again. Front two, Dwight Gale. Oh, that chance. I will say actually, Jonjo Shelvey, that nice little sort of cross come floated pass into the path of Dwight Gale was an absolute fucking peach. So I'll give him that. But Gale arguably should have scored with the header. It's unfortunate, but Lloris, although he's got mistaken him, is one of the better goalkeepers in the league. And then the follow-up should have scored that. Later on in the first half, Sean Longstaff was breaking through from midfield. He's probably in one-on-one unless he pulls the fucking hamstring and falls over. And Dwight Gale, it's a simple pass for a professional footballer. Puts far too much on it, and the goalkeeper comes out. So that was disappointing. But he was an outlet. He harried the Spurs defenders. He was fairly good going up for headers and stuff. You know, fairly good in the air. Just a shame. Just that if he gets it on target to Sean Longstaff, and if he scores one of those chances, it's a different story. But then again, if you look back, we'll talk about Joelinton in a minute. Joelinton had a big chance in the second half. If that comes to Dwight Gale, probably scores. We've all been calling for him to start for so long. He hasn't scored yet. You know, I thought he would have, but he's unless I'll talk about Wilson and Gale in a minute, but I think Gale has to play from now on because he will score it. It's going to happen. Joelinton, overall, I'd say his best game. Obviously, his previous best games against Palace, where he scored and got an assist, but he was a handful. Like apart from the final third and chance creation, he's been really good. The last few weeks, you know, or last month or so. You look at the game against Villa, he tore Torre Mings a new one. You know, bullied him around. He was good in that respect. His hold-up play was excellent. He ran down the channels. He was a willing outlet. He always showed for the ball. He never hid away. That goal, his goal, brilliant. Okay, it's not the hardest chance to convert, but he just banged, confident. You know, a player of his low confidence could have taken a touch or just wanted to smash it, but he guided it in that bottom corner, near post as well. Didn't have a lot to aim at in terms of that near post in the corner, but brilliant finish. Overall, he played really well. Just a shame that goal and that chance in the second half where his touch isn't great, but it's good enough that a professional striker should be, from that range, from that touch, should then just be able to get it on target, and he doesn't. He's looking for that far corner and just fluffs it up, really. But overall, Bruce, you got to give him credit for. I'm not going to talk about his subs much because didn't really. Oh no, I have to. Joe Willett scored. Sorry. ASM came on, looked a little bit slow, didn't look 100% fit yet, but you could tell he posed that threat. Joe Willett came on and scored, which I'm sure he would have been very, very, very happy with as an ex-Arsenal, well, as an Arsenal player. Scored against Spurs, these trademark late runs into the box. Brilliant. It was a fantastic little ball in from Matt Ritchie. Joe Linton again, I've sold him short here, gets the assist, nods it straight back across, and Joe Willett's there with the late goal. Fantastic. 81st minute. So yeah, Steve Bruce, you've got to give him credit where credit's due. Mankio come on as well, but he wouldn't on for long, I wouldn't bother with it. He tried something new. It was an inventive formation, it was an attacking formation. He brought in two players out wide who can actually get the ball in the box. I'm sure if Carroll was fit, he probably would have started. If you're going to play two wingers who are very, very good at crossing the ball. Yeah, overall positives. So yeah, Dwight Gale and Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson shouldn't be starting against Burnley. Because you think it's only a week, 7-day turnaround. If he was fit enough to start against Burnley, he would have been on the bench against Spurs and possibly got a quick, last 10 minutes or something, just to get his blood pumping a bit. He didn't, so that tells me he's not going to start. But then again, Miggy was injured for a while and he was thrown straight into the fire against Brighton. But you'd like to think Steve Bruce has learned his lesson now. So Dwight Gale should start against Burnley in my eyes, and then depending on how the game's going, if we're say 2-0 up after 60 minutes, bringing on Callum Wilson, the game's not won obviously, but bringing on Callum Wilson's not a risk, is it? It's not going to risk the result. Hopefully we see ASM starting. I mentioned earlier his performance against Burnley at the start of the season when we beat them 3-1. He was outstanding. I think it's Phil Bardsley who played right back against him that day. He cut him to shreds on the left, and then he went on the right and provided that beautiful assist for Callum Wilson. Wilson got 2 that day, and then ASM obviously scored the opening goal from just outside the box where Burnley was scared to death of him. If we can have that ASM turns up against Burnley, it's a whole different complexion to the game because he scares people. He scares defence, particularly. I know Burnley haven't got the worst defence in the league, don't get me wrong, but he ripped them to bits last time. The last time they played this fella, he tore them to bits. So it just, because you have to double up against him, it just creates more space. If we've got, Dwight Gale then making runs, we could have Joe Linton making runs, manhandling people. Miggy provides space for. Sean Longstaff has shown that he's game to get in the box and break from midfield if he needs to. You've got Matt Ritchie and potentially Jacob Murphy. However, we can't play the same formation unless you want to play ASM up top or as a number 10. We won't be playing the same formation with him playing because, like I said, it just, you're not going to have him playing left wing back here. So if we want to play him on the wing, we're going to have to tweak the formation. If not, he could. There's an argument to play him up top with Gale. However, I think Joe Linton can sort of offer a bit of physicality against the Burnley defenders that perhaps Gale can't, and Alan Samuel certainly won't. But we shall see what happens during the week. Friday, I'll come back to you again with the Friday reflections. So overall, like I said, a fairly positive week for the weekend for the Toon. Brighton got beat by Man U. Burnley got beat by Southampton. If we can beat them on Sunday, will then drag them back down into it. Fulham crucially got beat by Villa, but that was close for a while, wasn't it? And we obviously could have been so much better if Joelinton converts his second chance, or if Dwight Gale scores. But decent. If we can play like that in terms of performance every week, we'll pick up enough points to stay in the division. I'm convinced of it. But there we go. Happy days. Decent point against a decent team. We go again against Burnley. So yeah, I will see you again on Friday for Friday Reflections of this week. Cheerio.